Hey guys, it is a big day today. I'm so excited that we finally get to the good stuff. And when I mean the good stuff, we are planting plants today. There's been a lot of prep work that's gone in the background, as you've seen in my garage, in my dining room, in my kitchen, and now these plant babies are finally getting their permanent home. And I brought all the goodies with me today that I'm gonna teach my client and good friend Cassie about. So hopefully this helps you out too. Gotta wheel a few things over to the garden and we'll get started. And of course, I brought my little kit with me. Never leave home without it, with all the garden essentials. Oh, and one thing too, I love my clients. I work with the best people ever, and I want to make sure they feel that love, so I have a little gift for Cassie today. Hi, Cassie!
Karen, so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I'm so excited. I have my tools.
I know, you look ready to go. She's got her little trowel. I love it. But before I forget, this is for you. Thank you so much for letting me, transform your space.
Of course, thank you.
Help you out learning about gardening. So it's a little harvest bag.
That's amazing.
All season long, when you pick your produce, you have a dedicated bag to enjoy it from.
And I'll think of Karen and Homegrown Gardens every time I pick something. Thank you.
Okay,
yeah,
so let's wheel this over, and then we'll get your plant babies out of the car. Maybe I should put my plant babies in a car seat. I don't do that, but anyways, here they are.
Looks like some lettuce and kale and, is that a broccoli? Is that broccoli?
Yep, you got 2 broccolis in there.
Broccoli, oh my gosh.
Cassie and I, we go way back. When did I meet you? It was
Core Power, probably 2014?
Circa 2014, that sounds right.
Yeah,
That's when I did yoga teacher training. Cassie was in that same wheelhouse of yoga. She's a teacher as well. She's incredible. Her energy, her spirit is amazing. And then you approached me last year, right?
So during the pandemic, I decided to do my first stab at a garden in our backyard. And I mean, I bit off way more than I could chew. It was great, but didn't really have the necessary knowledge about spacing and the right light and what vegetables should go next to what vegetables. And so we moved here about 2 years ago, and I really wanted to create a space that was going to not only be beautiful, but really yield a lot of food that we can eat. And so I was like, I'm calling Karen. and so we came up with a couple different sketches, different layouts, and we went with this one. And I think it's gonna be great this summer to have some light at night, to have a little path to come through, and also a meditative space.
We have irrigation in this one because, we all take vacations. Cassie just did this amazing yoga retreat in Morocco, so we never know what's around the corner. So I'm gonna teach you how to set that up today. Like Cassie said, she kind of needed some help with spacing. A lot of my clients do. I know the grow habits of all these plants, so I'm constantly thinking about, as these plants grow in, how is that going to look like as, July gets here, August, September. When you harvest this can take over. There's this natural wave and this ebb and flow. It's constantly changing. And I do like to space things out. So for instance, we have 2 broccolis here. And now you might think you would just want to plant these broccolis side by side, right? But in nature, things are always diversified. So it's actually good to split them up. They're both very heavy feeders. So the fertilizers, if we were to put these side by side, they might be competing for the food underground. Whereas we're gonna put something next to it that is a light feeder, so everything is nice and happy. Plus, these guys are gonna get really big. Broccolis will probably, if this was planted right here, you're gonna have broccoli up to here. So it actually would create a little shade too. As this gets tall, what needs a little bit of shade underneath of it, that's shorter. So we have 2 broccolis. The post actually provides a nice backdrop. It's really a strong support system. So we'll plant that right there next to these backdrops. So let's place our kale. Kale too is very beautiful. Right? It has this frilly look to it. So I don't necessarily want to put it in the...
Do you want to do front and center?
I think so. Okay. I think we do 4 kales, or at least 2. I do like to spread out all cruciferous. So there's one thing that you'll know is, now that you've put in this beautiful garden, you're gonna draw in the pests that want to eat it. But that's one reason too that you want to spread out not just broccoli, but kale too, any cruciferous, because the scent of it attracts what's called the cabbage moth. So the more we mix and mingle with scented herbs, the less likely they are to catch the scent of the cruciferous. So therefore, I want to put a chive next to the kale around it, because that oniony scent is,
It's
you know,
a deterrent.
it's a deterrent. And chives too will come back every year. So I kind of think about where do we want them tucked. I think they'd look perfect just in the corners. So it'll be the first thing that comes up. It's all symmetrical and you'll
love
have
it.
little purple flowers. And then oregano is another perennial that will come back. This will spread, not a crazy amount, but it will spread. So I like the idea of using it in your center box because it has boundaries.
Okay.
I'm gonna switch gears. So the broccoli, I'm gonna pop over on that one and we'll do the
Okay.
kale
Oh, perfect.
like on the inside. We have bunching onions. So these are scallions. These are not going to bulb. This onion won't get big and fat, so we don't have to split them out and give them space to grow. Again, this partners well with cruciferous, right?
Okay.
For the scent.
Sure.
So let's maybe do onions
Okay.
somewhere here so it's kind of
Yeah.
next to the kale. All right, and we have our thyme. So because they're perennial, I'm thinking we'll put them in your center box as well. So anything that will come back every year gets dedicated to this
Okay.
box.
I think that's perfect.
I think so too. So lettuce likes a lot of shade, given that in the hot sunny days, it causes it to bolt. I wanna actually put these back closer to your trellis so that as your trellis grows, it offers a little bit of shade, and same with the broccoli. Those are all of our transplants for today. You wanna start digging some holes?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I know you brought your trowel. I have some too. This is my little garden kit, Homegrown Gardens. So it has everything that you would need in your garden. So 2 shovels for you and your friend, obviously. A claw. Now, if you had really chunky soil, you don't because we brought in organic, beautiful stuff.
Right.
But even as winter compresses the soil down, if we want to mix it up, see it just easily kind of loosens that up. And then these are trowels. This one has measuring things
that's
on
nice.
it. When you see worms in your soil, that is a sign you have really healthy soil. The soil we install has compost in it and that attracts the worms. So worms are gold. I mean, if you think about what root systems eat for plants, like they're eating compost, right? And worms are continuously supplying them with a little beautiful compost. So worms are great. If you have little kiddos at home and they love to go hunting for worms and you have a garden box, just make sure you tell your kiddos, throw them in the garden box and let them populate. If you have a shadier spot in your garden, put your leafy greens in there or your herbs just so that you can prioritize the sunnier spots for things that flower. So onions like a lot of sun, even radishes and beets. We want to keep the sunnier spots for those. Lettuce likes shade too. They don't like the heat. So in your own garden space, make sure you're considering your sun exposure in your shadier spots to know what goes where. What actually got you into gardening?
So my mom was an avid gardener. I remember as a kid, she would always assign my sister and I the chore of weeding it. So I spent a lot of time just picking out little weeds from her garden. But I think like just the memory of summers in Southern Illinois with juicy ripe tomatoes, a little bit of salt, some cucumbers from her garden, it's just home to me. So when the pandemic came, we were home for a long time, decided to give it a shot myself. And some things worked, some things didn't. And then we moved. So once we were in this space, I'm like, I've got to call Karen. She's such a wealth of knowledge and I know that she'll guide me in the right way. And hopefully then I can pass down what I learned from Karen to my kids someday and they can do this as well.
Now the holes are dug, so we're gonna put in some additional goodies in those holes before we pop the plants in. I like a Spoma granular brand. Anything you feed your vegetables with in a granular setting is going to be slow releasing.
Okay.
So it's not going to instantly feed it, it'll feed it over time. And there's already good compost in your dirt, in your soil, so you're good to go. But this guy can be fed to everything. We'll do a little sprinkle in all the holes. It smells,
Woo!
yeah, it has a scent. If it has a scent, you know it's the good stuff.
It almost smells like seafood. So just a little shake?
Yep, sprinkle it in. That's perfect.
Okay.
So roughly a teaspoon. So you can see how this is feather meal and it's 1200. Well, what does that mean? It stands for nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. That means it's very nitrogen heavy, and nitrogen promotes a lot of lush green growth. So a lot of things that we're planting today, we're going to be eating the leaves of. That's always the question you want to ask. Am I eating the leaves? And if so, it will benefit from nitrogen, i.e. feather meal or blood meal. And blood meal, if you look at the back label here, it also is 1200. Next time when I come, I'm bringing something called fishbone meal, and it's high in phosphorus. Today, none of the flowering things are going in, so I don't have fishbone meal, but we will be putting blood meal and feather meal in. I do like this down to earth brand a whole lot. If you look at the ingredient list, it's literally derived from feather meal, just feathers, essentially.
Oh, feathers.
Feathers.
Like animal feathers?
I believe so.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
look at
Yep.
that. Okay.
And blood meal, you can take a guess what that is.
Is it bone marrow?
It's dehydrated blood. Plants are actually quite carnivorous. You think that plants are like vegans. They're not. The blood gives them iron. That's what promotes green growth. The bones, fish bone meal, that's ground up fish bones. That gives them calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. So yeah, plants are pretty much carnivores.
Who knew?
Who knew? This product, azomite, I'm in love with. It actually is so natural. It came from a volcanic eruption in Utah that happened who knows when, many, many moons ago. But basically it developed a seabed of minerals that the plants love, and they powderize it so nicely. The more powderized that these fertilizers are, the more absorbable it is for their root systems. So this is a really awesome product that all plants will benefit from. It helps you strengthen their stems, their root systems. It'll improve your yields. You'll get more crops in the end when the plant is naturally happier and healthier. Last but not least, we have worm castings, which is a nice, lovely way to say worm poop. Cassie has an amazing amount of worms in her garden, so we don't need to go crazy with this stuff. But if you had a fresh bed that you just installed with soil that has not had any microbiology and no worm activity, then this is a perfect supplement to give your plants that natural compost that they're looking for. Just a handful will make your plants happy. So now we're gonna stir everything up real quick.
Okay.
And then the plants will be ready to go.
Ready to go in.
So there's so much prep work involved with gardening. When you take the time to do these extra few little steps, you'll be astonished with the health of your plants and actually how much it helps. My planter baby is now yours.
Thank you for this gift.
You're welcome.
We're gonna gently place her in here and then do this. Yeah?
Exactly. Yep. Just cover all of that up. And one thing I always like to do is give it a good little press.
Press down.
Yep. Press down. That sets it in place. So when you take a plant out of the pot, you always want to look at the root systems to see if you need to rough it up or maybe it's fine. So this one, there's no binding. This is not a root-bound plant. The roots are down. I mean, we can loosen it up a little bit, but they're pretty free and clear. So this is a good example where it's not quite root-bound, but it's starting to get a little tight in there. So I just take my finger and kind of wiggle it loose like that, and that's really all. Sometimes this happens in planting. You have a few accidental harvests, but here you go, enjoy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You look so cute, like with the little bunny on your...
I feel like a bunny.
Yeah, you're a bunny right now. How does it taste?
It's delicious.
So good, right?
It's so earthy.
I know. Peas are nice because they need to be spaced about 6 inches apart, and this grid system is exactly 6 inches.
That's perfect.
So it's perfect. We'll put one pea seed 1 inch down. They're a little bigger seeds, so they go 1 inch in the ground. Every 6 inches. So each little pea shoot, will have one of these vertical pieces to climb up. The seeds already have plenty of good nutrition to promote growth. That's the gift of nature, right? So we don't have to doctor up the soil too much. I like to sprinkle a little of the Garden Tone Espoma fertilizer on the soil, and that's about it. Once it starts growing, we'll feed it as time goes on, but initially these seeds, they're packed with exactly what nature gave it. So arugula is more of a pat that we don't have to do individual seeds. You'll see it's like so tiny. So this is where the claw comes in handy. We're just gonna scrape the soil to the side, like so. And Cassie, I'll let you do the honors, but here you're just going to sprinkle, and you'll see these seeds are so tiny.
Oh my gosh, they are. You see?
Itty bitty seeds. So just kind of like scatter.
Sprinkle them like throughout?
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. Cassie had to run out for a second, and I'm gonna get her irrigation completed. In the fall, we put the central tubing in the center, but it doesn't do anything for you unless you pop out little exit points for the water to get to the plant. So these are called little emitters. These are 2 gallon per hour emitters that will control the flow of water towards the plant. And when you install it in the tube, go from the side, not on the top, so that if you have to put a little spaghetti pipe tubing to reach the plant, it's not going up and over and looping everything. It's just naturally going to lay on the side if you install from this side of the tube. So now that we've put the emitters in the main central line, some plants are a little far away from that emitter, so that's where this 1/4 inch tubing comes in handy. So this will source the water to the plant. So you just roughly measure how far it's gonna go. Clip it, and it goes on here. There we go. And then we just kind of stretch it out, and it's gonna reach the plant there. Whenever you put in seeds in the ground, then you want to spray the whole area, put the tubing on, and then at the end, this can be maneuvered around and it'll spray 360 degrees over the area of where you have your seeds in the ground.
I mean, this is a great day, right? Get your hands and nails in the dirt. I cannot thank Karen and Homegrown Gardens enough for creating this beautiful space for myself and my family. We're going to be busy all spring and summer harvesting and enjoying nature's bounty. Karen is so amazing to work with. She's creative, she's compassionate. This is her passion. I've known Karen for years through our yoga journey and cannot wait to see what she does with her own space. I'm just so grateful. Thank you, Karen.
So Cassie's garden is done for her spring planting. We got the plants in, they're gonna grow nice and happy. And I'm good here, but now for me, I'm on to the next client. So I'll see you there.
Now let's go to Kate's garden update.
We have been rocking and rolling on Kate's project for the last week or so. So I wanted to catch you up to speed and show you what's been going on. Behind me, you can see we've already put in the bluestone patio. It looks gorgeous. It has a beautiful tone to it with the blues, and it has little brown. See how it's picking up the tones of the wood, the lumber that the garden boxes are made out of. So back there, the guys, Jose and Enrique, they are busy building the garden box. We've already got the structures in. We put the soil in. We're waiting on the header board back there for the beautiful trellis. And I believe if the rain holds out today, they're actually going to be finishing up the bluestone fire pit area. This is only just the beginning. We have quite a bit to go yet. I'm taking Kate back to a granite store. We're gonna pick out a beautiful slab of what we're hoping for to find is black Negresco, maybe soapstone, TBD. And then that way we'll get that ordered and it'll be ready to go by the time we get the base built for her grill and fridge area. So one really cool thing we've actually came up with as well is creating an optical illusion with the fire pit area to make it look like it's elevating off of the bluestone patio. So I'm excited to show you how that turns out. All right, so that's about it for now. We have a lot of work to do. Thanks for checking in, and I'll check back with you in a couple weeks.